Hello everyone, welcome back. So we were in the middle of theories of organic evolution. Yesterday we had a small discussion about, in fact a lengthy discussion about Lamarckism. Jean-Baptiste Lamarck and his very famous theory, which is also called as a theory of soft inheritance. Theory of soft inheritance. So please remember this, soft inheritance means it is once again Lamarck's theory. In that we had discussed about few important principles given by Lamarck. Most importantly, number one, every organism tend to grow in size, tend to increase in size due to the innate forces and how environment plays a role in making an organism to reach its full genetic potential. Only under favorable environmental conditions, an organism can think about reaching its full genetic potential, irrespective of its innate capabilities. Then we also had a discussion about the theory of use and disuse. Whenever an organ tends to get used continuously, it tends to get evolved. Continuous use leads to evolution, while discontinuous use, if we are not using an organ continuously, it may get atrophied. I had given you two examples. Example of human eye and appendix in our digestive system. Then formation of a new organ. Formation of a new organ is largely because of a new need which is maintained in the body of the organism. I told you a number of examples for this. The curved digits of birds, the elongated neck of giraffe, webbed feet of the ducks. Then finally, the controversial principle given by Lamarck. That is, inheritance of acquired characters. Inheritance of acquired characters. So according to Lamarck, the sum total of all the characters acquired by an individual will be preserved, accumulated, and it will be transmitted to the next generation. I told you, Weizmann conducted one experiment to disprove this theory. He conducted one experiment with the mice in which he managed to cut the tail of a pair before mating. And even after 21 generation, he couldn't find a newborn baby, newborn rats without a tail. But Brown and Stickward, to some extent, provided some evidence in support of this theory also. There are few characters, if it manages to find few acquired characters, if it manages to find a deep seating in our DNA, deep seating in our genetic makeup, and it may get inherited to the next generation. That is, not all the acquired characters will be transmitted to the next generation, but few characters which finds a deep seating in our genetic makeup may get transmitted to the next generation. Okay, fine. So now let us discuss Darwin's theory of evolution. In the year 1859, Charles Darwin published a very famous book that is on the origin of a species. On the origin of a species. Exactly in the similar time, exactly in the same time, yet another contemporary, Alfred Russel Wallace, he also propounded a similar theory independently. This is one very big example for psychic unity of mankind. Two theories simultaneously on the same subject. So Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, right, is also called as theory of evolution by natural selection. By natural selection. So in the year 1859, he published a very famous book on the origin of species. Subsequently, he also wrote a number of other books which also dealt with organic evolution. For example, The Descent of Man, and Selection in relation to sex. Then he wrote one more famous book, Variation of Plants and Animals Under Domestication. But do not bother about this. So we are going to discuss only about the theory which he proposed in the very famous book, The Origin of Species. So this is a theory which deals with evolution by natural selection. Evolution by natural selection. So what is natural selection? What is artificial selection? We shall discuss leisurely. Okay. So the first important principle of Charles Darwin, that is a prodigality of nature. So prodigality of nature means unlimited fertility. Unlimited fertility. So every organism has this potential of unlimited fertility. I have mentioned few examples. One important example about Ascaris lumbricoides. Ascaris is a white color worm found in the intestine of babies of human being. A single Ascaris, right, can lay 1000 eggs in a day. So I told you an example of banyan tree, correct? Banyan tree. So in a single banyan tree, at a given point of time, you can see few thousand fruits, few thousand fruits. Within every single fruit, right, there will be few hundreds of seeds. And every single seed is capable of germinating and growing into a full-fledged banyan tree. Why God gave this banyan tree such a immense potential? But hardly right, I'll tell you, maybe in a 10 years, once in 10 years, one seed may germinate to become one another banyan tree. If some birds carry these fruits, and if they drop the seeds somewhere in a distant place, there are chances that that seed may germinate. But if every single seed is allowed to germinate, our earth will be completely occupied by banyan trees alone. Same is the case, a housefly. We call it as Musca domestica, right? A very common housefly. So once in, I'm a trained entomologist. Once in one of my friends' home, they had one they had one peculiar issue. They couldn't have control over the houseflies. Everywhere we see there will be houseflies, 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 and they keep up doing something. Still, the houseflies used to come to their home. I used to say, see, if these many houseflies are there, then there should be some other problem. Uh, I just went there around to see the kitchen and the nearby areas. Those people, what they used to do, they used to maintain lot of wet waste and they used to spend some time in disposing. They maintain the wet waste and few they may use it for manuring and few they are discarding it. But before discarding it, they used to maintain that wet waste for a long time. I told them these houseflies, right, they have a spongy type of mouthparts. A spongy type of mouthparts. So it can survive only on wet surfaces. So for it to eat something, right, that should be wet. That sponge will absorb the moisture along with that food material and it eats that. I asked them, please make it sure that you discard the wet waste immediately. Do not maintain it for a long time. In a matter of few weeks, that problem of housefly got solved. This housefly is right up. In a single day, a single housefly may lay 30 to 40 eggs, close to around 50 eggs. And not all the 50 eggs, right, are going to hatch and to become a new housefly. They know that out of these 50, some 20 or 30 will get washed away in the water. Few will get crushed by somebody who is walking there, maybe an animal or a human being. Predators are always ready to predate on their eggs. So out of this 50, if 2 or 3 survives, that itself is a big deal. That's why every organism have this potential for enormous fertility. This we call it as a prodigality of nature. So Charles Darwin stresses on this prodigality of nature. Every organism has unlimited fertility potential. It is because we are not sure that every single individual is going to survive. As a part of Deng's reforms in China, when the one-child norm was introduced, one child now. But now they are reversing the policy and recently now they are going ahead with the 3-child norms now. Because there is a very big problem of excessive dependency ratio, which the future generation will be made to bear. I'll tell you one example. These 2 parents, they give birth to 1 boy. And here 2 parents, they give birth to 1 girl. Let us assume a hypothetical condition. Here similarly, 2 parents, they give birth to 1 boy. And 2 more, they give birth to 1 girl. In the next generation, they both are getting married. And they'll have 1 kid, 1 girl. So just in the 3rd generation itself, now if they get married, this single guy, right, he need to take care of this entire family. 1, 4, 8 here, 10, 12, 30. And suppose if they survive for 1 more generation, another 13 will come from the another side. The single guy need to earn to sustain the life of 26 members. Very high dependency ratio. But they were bold enough to introduce one-child norms because they made it sure that as a part of the Deng's reforms, we will be making a very good infrastructure, both public, civic, as well as health and social infrastructure, so that there is no need to worry about your kid. Will 100% assure that your healthy kid will grow to its full potential. And in case if something wrong happens, there are a number of social security schemes. Do not worry, our government will not let you down. So it is based on this particular assurance or the comfort from the government. Even people adhered to the one-child norms in China. By 70s, by the time when Deng's reforms were introduced in China, the economic condition of India was far better than the economic condition of China. Not even during this time. Since the World War, that was the condition. Even when Chinese invaded India in 1963, Indian Air Force, right, we had a competitive advantage over the Chinese Air Force. Many even Ram Manohar Lohia, they were advising, they were asking Nehru, why you are remaining silent, man? See, our Indian Air Force is there. Why can't you use our Air Force to deter their attack? But Jawaharlal Nehru, he was very clear in saying, see, these people, they came inside and they left. Let us stop the conflict with this. I do not want to escalate the conflict further. See, we can use our Air Force to attack them, but from their air bases, Indian cities like Patna, Allahabad are accessible. Nehru was a visionary. Nehru was a visionary. He need to think many things before taking an action. For him, economics was the first priority. Economy was the first priority. But he failed miserably towards the end because of this Chinese aggression, and that particular incident was largely responsible for his early death. It hastened his illness, and okay, that's a different story. But we in India, even during 1980s, 1970s, Sanjay Gandhi unsuccessfully tried to implement a number of family planning measures. In India, we couldn't do it. Why? We cannot assure the parents with a good infrastructure. Even now, you know the condition of our roads, the condition of our highways. Okay, we are not sure a newborn kid, right, will reach its full genetic potential, will become a full-fledged adult. To that extent, right, we have a pathetic infrastructure and our health facilities, our social infrastructure meant for dealing with our old people. No, we do not have any moral right to ask a parent to go for one child. Okay, okay, fine. So every single organism have unlimited potential. This is what Charles Darwin explains in his first concept. It is prodigality of nature or unlimited fertility. Unlimited fertility. So the second aspect of his theory is number 2. Struggle for existence. Struggle for existence. So after all odds, if an individual managed to emerge, suppose if a seed managed to germinate into a new sapling, then this will be subject to a number of struggle which Charles Darwin classifies into 3 types. The struggle may be number 1, intraspecies. They also call intraspecific. Both are same, intraspecies or intraspecific. That is struggle within the same species. There may be a number of other seeds which might have germinated in the same place. But every single plant cannot grow here because suppose this is a neem tree. There should be a minimum spacing of at least 6 or 7 feet between 2 trees. So within this 1 square feet area, all the 4 trees cannot survive. So the first competition will be from within the same species, among the same species, which we call it as intraspecies or intraspecific. The next competition, right, will be interspecific or interspecies. Now the plants manage to emerge. Some other plants may be growing there. Some other plants may be growing there. For example, the notorious plants like Parthenium. So Parthenium, once when it, but I heard about this plant, right? Parthenium. It's a very notorious weed, and this has some toxins which even creates allergy to many people. There are three notorious weeds which really creates havoc for our environment. One is this Parthenium, number two is the Lantana camera, and the third one Euphorbia. These three are really so notorious a weed, and this really affects our environment. This Parthenium, once when it invades to a new place, there are some chemical reactions which it does, which alters the pH of the soil, and it will not allow other plants to grow. So you can see, whenever I still remember the place where I spent during my childhood days. So after a very long time, right after a matter of 15-20 years, I managed to go there to that place, and it was more than a big shock for me. That entire area, right, got occupied by Parthenium. I couldn't see any other plants there. I still remember it is a place, right, where I used to collect small flowers with which we used to play. There are number of dragonflies, damselflies, grasshoppers with which we used to play, and none of them were there. Everything was missing. There was altogether a complete change in that environment, and we couldn't see that original vegetation. These invasive plants, right, this had almost destroyed that entire environment with its invasion, right. The quantum of losses, the quantum of species loss here, right, simply it's something which we cannot imagine. Same is the case with the lantana camera. We'll discuss in length about lantana camera and its impact on animals and also tribal life. Okay, so the next struggle will be struggle against the different species. The different species, right? It may be a plant or an animal. Maybe some rodents may be there, it may destroy the plants. Some goat or sheep or some other herbivores may come and feed and they may destroy the plant. So, the second struggle is interspecific, that is struggle against the other species. And the third struggle is the struggle against the environment. So, there should be adequate moisture for our plants to grow. Pest and diseases should be under control. There should be no flooding of this region. So if an individual manages to withstand all these three struggles, intraspecific, interspecific, and struggle against the environment, then that winner, right, they are capable of surviving in the given environment. Every single plant, every single animal, right, undergoes this struggle, and it is after this struggle only, right, an organism survives in the environment. So that's why I keep saying you need to give respect to life on the earth. Every single life, right, be it a small plant, be it a blade of grass, it survives here because it cannot survive that easily. It has every single life form on the earth, right, had undergone all this struggle to survive in the environment. To struggle in the environment. Okay. So, Charles Darwin speaks about, say, after the prodigality of nature, he speaks about the struggle for existence. Next comes the variation and heredity. Do not worry, this is not because of COVID. sinusitis. We call it as sinopharyngitis. Sinopharyngitis.